Secretary School Gopalapuram are here to present two bhajans and one Hindi speech. Now we can start this event with a Hindi bhajan, Om Hi Jeevan Hamara, which means when we meditate on Om, it will purify our minds.
विश्व को आर्य बनाते चले। नमस्ते, मेरा नाम है श्री हरि कुमार।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम है विशेषा।
और आज का विषय है युग प्रवर्तक स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती। स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती जी का नाम भारतीय इतिहास में युग प्रवर्तकों में गिना जाता है। वे एक महान समाज सुधारक और धार्मिक विचारक थे। उन्होंने अपने जीवन का उद्देश्य मानवता की सेवा, अज्ञानता के अंतर्द्वार को दूर करना और वेदों की शुद्ध शिक्षा को पुनर्स्थापित करना बनाया।
स्वामी जी ने यज्ञोपवीत संस्कार को केवल उच्च कुल तक सीमित रखने का विरोध किया। उनका मानना था कि यह सभी वर्णों के लोगों के लिए आवश्यक है, ताकि हर व्यक्ति अपने धार्मिक और सामाजिक कर्तव्यों को सही तरीके से पालन कर सके।
रक्षाबंधन के पर्व को लेकर भी स्वामी दयानंद जी का दृष्टिकोण विशेष था। उनका मानना था कि यह त्योहार केवल भाई बहन के प्रेम का प्रतीक नहीं, बल्कि समाज में भाईचारे, प्रेम और सुरक्षा का संदेश देता है। उन्होंने रक्षाबंधन के दिन हर व्यक्ति को यह वचन लेने के लिए प्रेरित किया कि वे न केवल अपनी रक्षा करेंगे, बल्कि समाज और राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा में भी अपना योगदान देंगे।
स्वामी जी ने श्री कृष्ण को एक योद्धा, मार्गदर्शक और कुशल प्रशासक के रूप में माना है। स्वामी जी का विचार और कार्य आज भी हमारे समाज के लिए अत्यंत प्रासंगिक है। उन्होंने न केवल कुरीतियों का विरोध किया, बल्कि उन्होंने एक ऐसे समाज का सपना देखा जहां शिक्षा, न्याय और समानता का बोलबाला हो।
स्वामी जी एक सच्चे युग प्रवर्तक थे, जिन्होंने हमें अपने कर्तव्यों का स्मरण कराया और हमारे धर्म, राष्ट्र और समाज के प्रति हमारी सुरक्षा का योगदान और सेवा का महत्व बताया।
उनका जीवन हमारे लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है और हमें उनके आदर्शों को अपनाकर आगे बढ़ने का प्रयास करना चाहिए।
तो चलो इस पथ पर बढ़ते रहे, सत्य के साथ कदम मिलाते रहे, आर्य समाज का दीपक जलता रहे, स्वामी जी का आशीर्वाद सदा मिलता रहे।
धन्यवाद।
Thank you, friends. That was a very informative speech about Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Now, we would like to conclude this event with a Tamil song, Ondru Serga Bharadam Endru Serந்து Kulvom, which means United India. Thank you, friends. That was a very inspiring song about our country. Thank you. Namaste.
मुझे ऐसा बना दो मेरे प्रभु, जीवन में लगेगा होकर नहीं। मुझे ऐसा बना दो मेरे प्रभु, जीवन में लगेगा होकर नहीं। जाने अनजाने में भी मुझसे नुकसान किसी का होना नहीं। मुझे ऐसा बना दो मेरे प्रभु। दुनिया
वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तं आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेव विदित्वा निवृत्तिमेति नान्यपन्था विद्यते यनाय. Respected audience present over here this morning. Tomorrow we have the Janmashtami. And so I think it's time for us today to discuss a key message that Sri Krishna gives in his life. So when you think about Sri Krishna, you refer to the Mahabharata war, isn't it? It's almost a direct correlation of it. So let's look at a specific incident, right, that happened, and let's take some key learnings from that as applicable in our everyday lives. So I'm sure most of us must have heard about that one famous last attempt by Sri Krishna, the great yogi, to prevent the Mahabharata war. What was the last one final incident? One final attempt. What was the final attempt that Sri Krishna made to avert the Mahabharata war? The final attempt, what did he do? So, the war seemed quite imminent. Sri Krishna was very worried that it will lead to large scale destruction. And he had the Pandavas on one side, the Kauravas on the other. He knew that Pandavas are not, they will be satisfied not that, they really want the entire kingdom. Duryodhana had a different perspective, a different way to look at things, right? So Sri Krishna, he went to Duryodhana and he mentioned to him, he said, listen, I've come as a last ditch attempt to avert this war. And if you agree on this condition, and what's the condition laid down? That you give just 5 villages. You just give 5 villages. Right, the 5 Pandavas just give 5 villages alone. You have a vast empire, right? Before that, as you recall, the Pandavas were on the exile, right? They'll come back, give them just 5 villages, and let's settle the matter there. Right? But Duryodhana, he had that sense of arrogance. He just would not want to listen, right? So what did Duryodhana say? He said, I will not
give even a piece of land.
Even a small piece of land, even equal to a needle. Equal to a needle also, I will not give even that much of land willingly without fighting the war. Sri Krishna was obviously quite disappointed. He went to Duryodhana once again sit down, and he helped him understand that listen, this is not dharma. What you're doing is wrong. There will be problems. And he made Duryodhana a little emotional. Right? First there was arrogance, but then as the conversation went on, he tried to help him understand that listen, what you're doing is completely wrong, and he made him also a little emotional. But Duryodhana still did not budge from his stance. And Duryodhana finally said a very important, in sense, he said a very interesting, right, 2 lines. And those 2 lines were, he said, Hey Sri Krishna, Janami dharmam najame pravritti, Janami adharmam najame nivritti. He said, Sri Krishna, Janami dharmam. Janami means what? I know. Janami dharmam. I know what? Dharma is najame pravritti. But I am not able to really go down that particular path. I don't have the pravritti for it. Right? I'm not able to go on that path. Janami dharma. I also know what is adharma. Nachame nivrittihi. But I'm not able to really come out of it. So Duryodhana made a very emotional kind of a, gave a very emotional sentence out. He said, Shri Krishna, I try a lot, but janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. Janami dharmam nachame nivrittihi. Now these two sentences, think about it, have deep meaning and relevance in our own everyday lives. We often know, or we pretty much all the time know what is dharma. Yes or no? You know, dharma is not to say a lie. Dharma is not to use harsh words. Dharma is not to lose temper. Dharma is to be honest. Dharma is to retain integrity. But what happens? Nachame pravritti. We are not able to really adopt that in our lives. Janami dharma. We also know what is adharma, isn't it? We all know about it. Right? There's no rocket science in that. You don't need to learn great shastras to know what is dharma and what is adharma. Right? Nachame nivrittihi. But you're not able to really come out. And that's why shastras also say, it is not, you don't need to know, as I mentioned, X number of mantras and Y number of, sutras, etc. That's not really that important. The most important is to first remove the ignorance. And the ignorance, when the Shastras say, it refers exactly to this. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. Going on to Bhagavad Gita, when the war actually starts and Shri Krishna, gave the Udesh of Bhagavad Gita to Shri Arjuna, in chapter 6, verse 5, he gives a beautiful shloka which pretty much reflects this particular thought process. And Shri Krishna says, Udare Atmanatmanam Natman Prasadaye Atmaiva Tyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratma. So what he's saying over here, he says, Udare Atmanatmanam Natman Prasadaye. Basically he's trying to say over here that this particular soul, right, you need to uplift this yourself. You need to uplift the soul yourself. And this soul, in a way, is your greatest friend and also your greatest enemy. It says Atma eva Jnano Bandhu. It is the biggest Bandhu and also your Ripu. It uses the word Bandhu and Ripu. Ripu means enemy. Bandhu means friend. Right? So what Shri Krishna over here once again in Bhagavad Gita, as mentioned in chapter 6 verse 5, is trying to once again reflect the thought that it is up to us as to how we conduct ourselves. Right? We are our biggest friends and we are our biggest enemies as well. Right? We do good to ourselves and we also harm ourselves. Right? If you get on to gambling addiction, basically you are only harming yourself. Right? So this particular shloka becomes extremely relevant as we celebrate Janmashtami and think about the great message by Shri Krishna. That brings us to an interesting point that we all know what is right, what is wrong, but still temptation is so high, isn't it? Temptation is so high that we are unable to control ourselves. Yes or no? Right? You learn about things over here, you feel good for some time, you go back home, right? You are a slightly more sattvic state of mind, but certainly there is some temptation. And when there is a temptation, you once again become an enemy of yourself. You start doing the path of adharma. If you go back to Yoga Darshan, in Yoga Darshan, Rishi Patanjali gives a very interesting sutra. And he says, Vitarka Hinsadaya, Krita Karita Anumodita, Lobha, Krodha, Moha Purvaka, Dukha, Ajnana, Ananta Phala, Iti Katipaksha Bhava. So over there, Rishi Patanjali says that to avoid temptations in life, you need to have this whole perspective of Pratipaksha Bhavana. What does this mean? Pratipaksha Bhavana. Bhavana means what? Feelings. Bhavana means feeling. Pratipaksha. So when you see a temptation, you have to think about it in an opposite way. Pratipaksha. So you think about the other side of it. So whenever you see a temptation, Rishi Patanjali says you think about the other perspective. And what is the other perspective? Rishi Patanjali says, he says, see, vitarka himsa daya. There are these temptations that are strewn all around this world, and we have the five sense organs, right? And these five sense organs, we like to see something, like to hear something, like to taste something, like to feel something. All the sense organs, they are strewn all over the place, right? And these are all the vitarka. These are all the vitarka, right? Himsa daya, it says there is violence, greed, malice, all this kind of distractions are strewn all around us. All these temptations are definitely there. And he goes on to say that when we do a wrong, it can be in three ways. Krita, Karita, Anumodita. He says either you can do it yourself, isn't it? You can do it yourself. Or it says Karita, you can get it done by someone else. And third one is Anumodita. You can motivate someone else to do it. A philosophy you can generate. Today, for example, yesterday there was a knife attack in Germany. That multiple people were killed and wounded. The Islamic State took the responsibility for it. There is Anumodita. You have inspired someone negatively. Right? So wrong can be done in three ways. Krita, what three things? Krita, Karya, Anumodita. So either you can do it yourself, or you can just get it done by someone, or you can just give a larger philosophy, just larger inspiration, and get it done. So in three ways you can do this, adharma. Right? Even dharma also you can do the same three ways. We can do dharma also these three ways. We can do adharma also these three ways. So it can be krita, karita, anumodita. And then Sri Patanjali says, lobha, krodha, moha, purvaka. Why do we engage in dharma? By three ways once again. Because of three reasons. What are three reasons? It says lobha. What is lobha? What is lobha? Greed. We can say together. Lobha, krodha, and moha. We can say together. Lobha, krodha, and moha. Right? There are three reasons why we engage in all this adharma. Lobha, krodha, and moha. Lobha means greed. That's understandable, isn't it? A little easy. Right? What is krodha? Anger. This is also understandable. What is moha? So Rishi says there are three reasons why. Three broad reasons as to why we engage in dharma. Lobha, krodha, and moha. Lobha and krodha you understand. What is moha? Attachment. Affection. What is affection really bad?
Desire.
So Rishi says that there is a difference between lobha and moha. The difference between lobha and moha. What's the difference? So lobha means greed. What does greed mean? So basically, if you for example take a bribe, so to do something you got say 500 rupees. Okay. Now here your benefit was 500. Is there some quantifiable? Is quantifiable in some sense, right? Or some concrete benefit you got out of it. You did something wrong, but you got some concrete benefit from it. Okay. What is moha? Moha is when you don't even get any concrete benefit from it. For example, if you are on a mobile phone for 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, is there any quantifiable benefit from it? No, right? There is no quantifiable benefit from it. Right? So that kind of an attachment which is just blind in nature. There is no real benefit also that you get from it. Right? That comes under moha. So in that sense, or of Lobh and Moh, which is more dangerous? Moha is basically more dangerous. That's what Shastras say. Right? So, going back to Sutra, it says, Vitarka, Hinsa, Deha, Krita, Karita, Anumodita, Lobha, Krodha, Moha, Krodha. Right? Because of these three reasons, you either do it yourself, Krita, you get it done, or you inspire someone to do it. Right? When you do all this in your life and you go to the dharma path, the Shastras say, Dukkha, Ajnana, Ananta Phala, iti Pratipaksha Bhava. So you think about this temptation and say that if I go down this particular path of dharma, right, either done by me directly or got it done or inspired because of Lobha, Krodha or Moha, I will have dukkha in my life and I will have ignorance in my life. And because of this dukkha and ajnana, this dukkha and ignorance, I will continuously be facing this throughout the cycle forever. That's the perspective Shastras take. Now, why is it forever? Why is this, is something that I can get to more details, but I think it's not the right. I need to give you a lot more context to it. So, why is it forever? If you do one mistake, how can I say that to this mistake I will get dukkha forever? This is not logical. No, right? It is the Shastras say, you get into a cycle, dukkha, ajnana, ananta phala. It's used the word ananta. So whatever wrong you do, there is a cycle you get into, because of which this dukkha and ajnana goes on for a very, very long period of time. And that's the perspective as to why we need to janami dharmam nachame pravritti, janami dharmam nachame nivritti. And as I mentioned, Shri Krishna says, Udare Atmanam Atmanam Sadhaye Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Vipuhu Ratna. We need to live our own self. When you talk about this Pratipaksha Bhavanam, the Shastras also tell us that whenever you see that temptation, whenever you see this temptation, something wrong, which you know that doing this is not right, the Shastras say if you want to really caution yourself, a couple of easy tips in Shastras say. It says, first, whenever you see something, you are tempted towards that, you start thinking about death. You start thinking about death. The moment you start thinking about your own death, what happens? Whatever the temptation be, it will sound, you will tend to leave. You got that point? What does Shastras say? What do you think? Whenever you see something wrong and your mind is attracted towards it, if you immediately start thinking about and you visualize your own death, you will immediately stop going. You will not go further beyond. Right? And also Shastras say, obviously also think about the sutras, etc. That's not conceptually think about it. You also start thinking about death. You move away from it. And also Shastras give an analogy. It says, think about a dog. Think about a dog. Why think about a dog? What's the very interesting thing about dog? A dog vomits and then does what? Any idea? A dog sometimes, it might sound a little crass, but the dog generally tends to eat its own vomit. A dog generally tends to eat its own vomit. The Shastras say that whenever you face this kind of situation, and if you have promised yourself to be on the path of dharma, and that temptation is making you go on the path of dharma, think about that when you have taken the resolve to be in the path of dharma, you have left the path of dharma, then you should not be like that dog that once again takes in its own vomit. It sounds a little odd, but it's a visualization that you do. The Shastras say to help you be on the right path, because the temptation in this world are genuinely just too many. Just too many. And I sometimes pity the young generation today, and I feel sad for you all, because we did not have that many temptations, especially the gadgets and whatever is there on the internet space. Isn't it? I'm sure all of the elders will agree. Isn't it? I don't think we went through that phase. You all, unfortunately, are going through that phase. Right? So for us, because it was not there, the temptation was not there, we could save ourselves from that. For you, that's a bigger challenge. There is no option. You are where you are, and you need to live in this world, right? Avoiding this kind of temptations. So with that, I'll stop here. If you have other questions, I can take that and then we'll end the discussion. Any question based on what we discussed? Or if you have any ideas into how we can resist temptation? From the others, any questions? Any thoughts? Yes, sir.
So you have to obey the Guru or Sriman for 3 weeks permanent.
The mic, if you can just keep, I couldn't really, the question is not really audible. Yes, sir.
Yes, there is Srimat, Manmat, or Paramat. Srimat means Srimat is all.
So if you don't mind, when you compare that. So if you don't mind, if the mic there's some issue that because of distance.
Hello.
Can you just compare
Sure. Srimat, Manmat or Paramat. Srimat is also called Gurmat. So you have to obey the Srimat or Gurmat, which is coming from Bhagavan, who is inside you. And Manmat means your own mind is tempting you for some other action.
So my suggestion, if you can come here, sir, if you can come here itself, it will be better. If you can come here, please come here, sir. Please come here. You can get the mic. Because I guess work will.
There are 3 types of parts available to everybody. That is Srimat, Manmat, Aur, Paramat. Aur means hand. Srimat is coming from Bhagavan. Manmat is what your own mind is tempting you to do. Paramat is what others are telling you. So every day when you get out of the bed, Srimat, that is Bhagavan is talking to you. Omkar is talking to you. What you should do, how you should carry out the day. But Manmat, your mind will tell something else. Like we can go this side, that side, we can go to the supermarket, cinema. But Paramat, others will tell something else. We can go to tourism, we can go to some other place. But Srimat is, Gurmat is what you have to follow. Gurmat means coming from the Guru. Guru means Guru means darkness or ignorance, again. Guru means light, Jyoti. This Guru, this Jyoti is inside you. Every day, morning it will talk to you. So you have to obey, obedience, and then you have to follow it. Srimat, Manmat, Paramat, Gurmat is what you have to follow.
Thanks. And the thoughts and questions? We'll end the session here. Thank you everyone. Om Shanti Shanti.